Sonic Rush is one of the best Sonic games out there. It has a very solid, modernized 2D gameplay, and the aesthetics and music are amazing, but it feels a bit weird to play nowadays. The game was made for the Nintendo DS, and the levels are displayed vertically on dual screens. On original hardware it's fine, but when you emulate it, it's a bit strange no matter how you configure it. Of course, Sega never re-released this game, and you can't even officially buy it nowadays. This was the game that defined portable Sonic for an entire generation, yet it was forgotten, but something incredible just happened. A group of fans did what Sega wouldn't. They brought Rush back, and the reaction has been overwhelming. Sonic Rush Rerun is a huge remake of Sonic Rush built on Unity, and it looks amazing. It's a labor of love that modernizes the game in several ways, perfect for both nostalgic veteran players and newcomers that are missing out on an amazing Sonic title. This is Mr. Fascinating, and today, let's explore just what makes Sonic Rush Rerun so good. To understand why Rush matters, we need to go back to its release. Dimps made a great follow-up to the Advanced series that updates the gameplay in an incredible way. The boost mechanic let you tear through levels at speeds that made the mainline 3D games of the time look slow. The dual screen setup meant you could launch into the stratosphere and actually see where you were going. For kids holding that chunky original DS, this was their first taste of what modern Sonic truly could be. It introduced Blaze the Cat, gave her an entire parallel campaign, and created this Dimensional Crisis storyline that felt massive for a handheld game. The soundtrack by Hideki Nakanuma, the guy behind Jet Set Radio, was so good that people still listen to it 20 years later. Sales were strong, critics loved it, fans called it the best Sonic game in years. This was so important because the home console side of things was struggling a lot with Sonic 06. Dimps had found the winning formula. 2 more games followed. Rush Adventure was an iconic sequel, with Marine the Raccoon. Colors DS was an alternative to the Wii game that actually had a much better story. This trilogy sold over 6 million copies combined. Then Sega just abandoned it completely. No ports, no remasters, no legacy collection, nothing. This is where things get strange. After 2010, the Rush games became ghosts. You literally cannot buy them legally anymore. Think about this. Sega has ported Sonic 1 thousands of times. They've released Sonic Colors Ultimate, Sonic Origins, multiple adventure ports, but the Rush trilogy, their best reviewed handheld games, total silence. Sega just moved on. They decided Boost Sonic meant Colors and Generations, not Rush. The portable games that protected Sonic's reputation during his darkest years became just an unimportant detail. An entire generation of Sonic fans had their favorite games erased. Kids who grew up with Rush watched every other classic get preserved, while theirs rotted on old hardware. Rush was dying, and Sega didn't care, but fans remembered. They always remember. Something shifted in the Sonic fandom around 2020. Fans stopped waiting for Sega to care. Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit showed what Game Gear games could become. Sonic PO6 rebuilt the disaster of Sonic 06 into something playable. Unleashed Recompiled finally brought the game to PC. The community does what Sega don't. Enter the team behind Sonic Rush Rerun. They looked at Rush and asked the impossible question: what if we rebuilt it from scratch on the Unity engine, keeping everything that made it special, while modernizing and polishing it even further? Just from the trailer's editing, you can already feel just how much passion Team Rerun has for the Sonic Rush aesthetic. Rush has such a unique art direction and music style, and the devs are going all in on it. The main menus, the UI, everything just screams Rush. Also, the devs have just confirmed they are actually going to address one of the most terribly annoying aspects of Sonic Rush, in a way that will hugely improve the pacing of the game, which I'll explain more about in a little bit. Right now, let's get into the gameplay. First of all, the game now has a horizontal view that keeps the same visibility of the level that the DS original had. This means the game is now easily playable on any widescreen monitor. The camera distance allows for easy playability even without the dual screen format, while at the same time gaining horizontal visibility. The game feels extremely faithful to the DS version. The devs studied the level design, measured the physics, analyzed why Rush felt different from other games. They took the Advanced 2 launcher system and integrated it seamlessly. They added the Stomp and Air Boost from Color's DS, moves that Rush always should have had. They kept the same charming low-poly 3D aesthetic, remaking animations in expressive and beautiful ways. The animations of Sonic and Blaze feel incredibly smooth. They have much more pronounced squash and stretch, which makes them so fun to look at. The stages are fully 3D, with parallax backgrounds that just look amazing. Most remarkably, these fans understood that Rush was about flow, that feeling when you chain a perfect series of tricks into a boost that carries you through an entire section. That's what they captured. There are additional options to customize the gameplay, like changing the camera distance. A cool new addition is that there are now red rings throughout the levels, adding a new layer of exploration to the game. They unlock new music on the new jukebox system. This makes the game much more replayable, turning it into a fresh experience for completionists. The Ghost Race feature is amazing for replaying the levels and getting good at them, a much welcome quality of life feature to train your skills. Even the level design is a bit adjusted to have a little bit less of those frustrating deep spikes. The boost is slightly more scarce to access, requiring a bit more tactical use of it from the player, making the game a deeper experience. Man, it's just so fun to replay the stages multiple times, learning the optimal route to get the best ranks. This fan game completely blew me away. It feels exactly like Rush, but updated. Even the music is slightly remixed, and they honestly truly do rival the original tracks. It feels like the songs are now more, how do I put it, three-dimensional and catchy, which makes sense since they are remastering the DS audio. The controls and moves, like the humming attack, were maintained exactly where they should, and it's just so natural to play. The latest demo they just released contains Leafstorm Act 1, the Egghammer Mega Boss Fight, Night Carnival X1 and the Egg Libra. Now, one of the things in Sonic Rush that really disrupts the pacing are the boss fights. The game has a little bit of that Sonic Superstar syndrome, where you have to wait a good while for the bosses to show their weakness, and only then can you attack them. These bosses could last several minutes, and honestly are one of the aspects of this game that doesn't hold up as well. However, Team Rerun here is on it. They already added a way to make the Egghammer Mega boss fight a bit snappier. Now, Sonic can spin dash into the rolling metal thing and throw it off the stage. This not only shortens the boss cycle, but actually deals damage, which means this fight is now thankfully much more bearable. No, this is not a hidden detail of the original game that you missed out on. Some people that saw a viral post that the team made showing it off thought it was always there and that it was some sort of Mandela effect moment. But no, this is a completely new improvement from this fan remake. What's even nicer is the team Twitter account actually tweeted saying that the boss fights will be heavily improved by the next demo. I can only imagine how perfect of an experience Sonic Rush will become once this fan game is finished, with everything modernized and even the boss fights and level design being improved. Sonic Rush was always one of the best Sonic games, and now it's going to get even better. Keep in mind, don't rush the developers to complete the game or anything, let them develop at their own pace. If you want to help development, they are currently looking for 3D modelers, so you can go and apply. Sonic Rush Rerun represents something bigger than one remake. It's proof that Sonic's best games aren't behind him, they are just waiting to be remembered. While Sega re-releases only the most safe and easier to port games, fans are preserving the hidden gems. Maybe Sega will continue to ignore the portable legacy while fans rebuild it piece by piece. Either way, Rush survives. The kids who grew up with these games are now programmers, artists, composers. They have the skills to preserve what they love. Sega can't bury what fans won't let die. Gaming history is written not by corporations, but by communities. Rush may not get an official re-release, but it's getting something better. It's getting rescued by the people who never forgot why it mattered. When Sonic Rush Rerun fully releases, it will be a monument to what happens when love meets talent. A reminder that the best games never really die. They just wait for someone who cares enough to bring bring them back. And that's considering Rush Rerun isn't even the only new Sonic fan game that's making the rounds. A different group of fans just spent 2 years crafting what basically is a perfect balance of 3D Sonic boost and the classic momentum physics. And this may change Sonic fan games forever. Click the video that's appearing on screen right now and find out all about the Sonic fan game that's going viral.
And you don't stop, you proceed, 'cause this is what you need. And you don't